find out is confirmed via multiple law enforcement sources. It is not yet official information provided by the Madison Police Department and should be treated as such, but this is information that is accurate. Sources say the girl who killed 2 people and injured 6 others armed herself not with one 9mm handgun, but with 2 handguns and multiple magazines. Those guns were purchased legally from a gun store in Sun Prairie by the suspect's father. Now, the suspect, the 15-year-old girl who I am not going to name, I should at this point out a Dan O'Donnell show policy following the initial identification of a shooter or a terrorist. In an incident like this, we do not name said shooter or terrorist ever in order to not potentially inspire a copycat or something like this. I do not want to glorify this shooter or her manifesto or her warped belief system or anything about this. I say this, all of this, I share this information in the interest of getting it out to the public, things that need to be told, especially about the what can only be described as extreme heroism that saved the lives of countless other students at this school. The suspect was a competitive shooter. In fact, she did post to her various social media pages pictures of her shooting for sport in either competitions or practicing, and she actually entered several competitions along with her father. The guns that were used in the massacre, I am told, at least one of them were purchased for the purpose of practice, for the purpose of collection, or for the purpose of using them in competition. The guns were either given to the suspect for the competitive shooting career that she had, or the suspect stole those guns from the father. That bit is still under investigation. The law enforcement agencies who are investigating this shooting almost immediately got a search warrant for the suspect's home, which is pretty much standard procedure. And what they were looking for after interviewing both parents was any sort of potential evidence that the guns were either stolen or mishandled, that they were negligently stored so that the student who apparently was exhibiting signs of increasing isolation and mental illness wouldn't have access to them. Once the suspect got to the school, armed with those 2 guns and multiple magazines, she stopped in the girls' bathroom near the study hall. She took a final social media picture of herself of her feet giving the OK sign in a bathroom stall. After that post was posted, just a couple of seconds later, the shooting started. She burst out of the bathroom and immediately went into the study hall, where it is now believed she targeted a specific student. And what's under investigation is the nature of the relationship between the shooter and that student. There is one theory that she had an unrequited crush or some other romantic involvement or issue with that student who was targeted. That's why she picked that study hall, because she knew that student was going to be in that study hall. Once she started shooting, the teacher who was monitoring the study hall at the time, the study hall teacher or supervisor, rushed the suspect within milliseconds. As soon as the teacher recognized what was going on and there was really a student inside with a gun, law enforcement sources say the teacher immediately was on top of that student, trying to stop her by grabbing her hair and wrestling her to the ground. The suspect shot and killed the teacher, whose body was found still clutching a handful of the suspect's hair in one of her hands. The teacher, law enforcement sources say, delayed the suspect long enough so that a second-grade student in a nearby classroom was able to call 911 and get police officers to that school within a matter of just a few moments. Sources say, based on the investigation thus far, the suspect, did intend to shoot students in other classrooms, but did not have enough time. Because of that teacher's heroism in stopping her for a few valuable seconds, the student turned the gun on herself, shot herself in the head, instead of emptying her magazines into more of her classmates. My law enforcement sources call the teacher a hero who undoubtedly saved lives. That's a direct quote from one. This is not a theory. This is not speculation. Again, this information is not yet confirmed by investigators, but my sources, who are about as well placed as sources could be, confirm that this is the timeline of what happened. President Biden, almost immediately after this tragedy on Monday, put out a statement calling for stricter gun control. What I can confirm is that no amount of gun control, save for gun confiscation or making illegal the sale of handguns to private citizens, could have stopped this shooting. The guns were purchased legally. The guns were in the home that the suspect shared with the father, and the suspect clearly had access to those guns. Based on a search of Wisconsin Circuit Court records pages, digitally available court records, there is nothing in either the father or mother or anyone else, any other adult in the home that would have precluded them, say, a criminal conviction or anything like that, that would have precluded them from legally purchasing a gun. Now, whether those guns were negligently stored is still under investigation. There is, however, at this point, no indication that they were. The fact that there was a legitimate purpose for having those guns, and frankly, under the Second Amendment, there doesn't need to be a legitimate stated purpose. The individual has an unfettered right to individual firearm ownership. That doesn't mean, obviously, that you can own guns that are deemed to be too powerful or unsafe for collection or home use, i.e. fully automatic machine guns or things of that nature. But a 9mm handgun, the one gun that was identified, at least by the Associated Press's reporting, as being used in this attack, is absolutely lawful to possess in all cases. Therefore, the White House's insistence that more gun control might stop this is refuted by the facts on the ground as I understand them based on my law enforcement sources. Moreover, I believe, and while I respect the need for privacy for the victims, and in fact, coming up after our first commercial break, we have Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway absolutely losing it on the press corps gathered at the press conference yesterday afternoon for daring to ask who the victims are. While I understand the need for privacy, and obviously I couldn't imagine a more difficult time to lose loved ones than just before Christmas time, and I couldn't imagine what any of these people are going through, I believe the public does need to know the identity of at least the teacher so that that teacher can be remembered as the hero that they were, so that the teacher can get the credit for being the savior of many, many kids who very likely would have been targets. It is clear that while this did appear to start as a targeted attack of one student with whom the suspect had some sort of beef, and it's, again, still under investigation whether there was an unrequited love, which appears to be the working theory right now, and already I'm seeing comments on social media and texts pop up on the adventknows.com talk and text line. No more theories, no more. This is what law enforcement work is about. They have to chase down theories that they're putting forward based on the available evidence. What I am sharing is not my own theory based on whatever it is. I'm not just pulling this stuff. When I say I am sharing theories of this case, I mean the actual investigative work that investigators, that law enforcement agencies are taking part in. This is how law enforcement investigates these sorts of incidents. They have to figure out, in other words, it takes a while to figure out a motive. You can look at the manifesto or the writings or talk to people who are talking to the suspect in the days or weeks before this attack and try to figure out, okay, what made them snap? But you also have to combine that with the physical evidence. Okay, who was the first victim? Who was it that was probably, the person that they really wanted to attack in this case? And that's what's going on here. But it is my very strong belief that the teacher needs to be identified as soon as is practicable, because I understand where, I can't believe I'm saying this, for a second day in a row, I am actually finding myself agreeing with the mayor of Madison, who we lovingly call Sunbeam Rhodes Conway on this program. But she's right. There is a balance that needs to be done between the privacy and not having people at their absolute most devastated point, at the worst moment of their lives, being hounded by some jackass from CBS News. And I use CBS News, just first one that popped into my head. Nothing against CBS News. But that needs to be balanced against the public, I think, recognizing heroic actions in the final moments of a teacher's life, doing exactly what we hope we all would in that situation. So once again, to recap our exclusive details, I can confirm via multiple law enforcement sources that 2 guns used in the Abundant Life Christian School shooting were legally purchased, that it was a legal purchase of the firearms. There was a final social media post from a school bathroom. Then within a matter of seconds, the timeline that is being worked on right now, within a matter of seconds of that social media post, the suspect started shooting inside a study hall where she knew the target of her primary rage was going to be. She shot other students inside that study hall. A teacher jumped on the student almost immediately, pulling her hair to try to get her to the ground, giving valuable seconds to a second grader who it is believed called 911 from a nearby classroom to report. And I'm just taking a wild guess. My producer is saying, he's looking at me kind of cockeyed, saying, really, it was a second. There were multiple 911 calls. Oh, it was a second grade teacher. Is that what they're reporting now? Oh, the second grade student. Okay, Sean Barnes has clarified that. Thank you, Dave. I did not catch that part, that it was a second grade teacher. Okay, so irrelevant to the meat of what's new this morning. But a second grade teacher from a nearby, which always sort of made more sense, that a second grade. But this, again, is what happened. Sean Barnes was the one who said it was a second grader on Monday, and that's not to denigrate him. Information just, it gets lost in the shuffle. Think of it as a game of telephone. But between official channels talking back and forth, there are a whole lot of people involved in this investigation, as well as the treatment of the survivors. So sometimes information just initially is not correct. Second grade teacher calls 911, giving valuable seconds for law enforcement to arrive on the scene. The shooter, recognizing that police officers were about to close in, turned the gun on herself instead of what's believed she was going to do, and that is shoot up other classrooms. You are listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. We will have more on this story coming up next. Please stay tuned.
Merry Christmas from all of us here at the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Hey, Hey, it's Dan O'Donnell wishing you and your family a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and prosperous New Year from the Lynch family of dealerships. To celebrate, this week only, receive a free 55-inch TV with any new or used car purchase at all of Lynch's locations. That's right, huge holiday savings plus a 55-inch TV with every new or used vehicle purchase. There isn't a better time to upgrade your ride and cruise into the new year with new wheels and a new TV. Maybe you need a new pickup with four-wheel drive to get you through the snow to Grandma's house. Maybe your wife wrote to Santa asking for an upgrade to her family vehicle. Either way, check that name off your list with a new ride from Lynch. Choose from a new Buick, Chevrolet, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, or Ford, plus an incredible selection of pre-owned cars that come with peace of mind protection, including a 90-day, 3,000-mile certified guarantee. Visit shoplynch.com.
Ever feel like you're playing hide and seek with the store employees while shopping for your home renovation?
Hey, can I get some help here?
Skip the hassle and head to Granite Plus for experts who know granite, Cambria, cabinets, and flooring. Granite Plus gives you personalized expertise and affordability with 0% financing available. Visit Granite Plus in New Berlin today and say goodbye to the big store confusion. Granite Plus, better design, service, value. Make your home the perfect gathering spot today.
Sick of campaign ads? I bet. But Racine County needs you at the polls on December 19th to vote for Ralph Malicki for county executive. Ralph stands for fiscal responsibility, collaboration, and economic development. Exactly the leadership Racine County needs to build for tomorrow. The South Shore Realtors Association supports Ralph Malicki. So should you. On December 19th, it's time to be picky. Vote for Ralph Malicki. Paid for by the Wisconsin Realtors Political Fund. Not authorized by any candidate, candidate's agent, or committee.
Police officer and K-9 handler Jacob Russell Chaffins was fatally shot while attempting to serve warrants for domestic violence offenses. And thanks to friends like you and your generosity, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation gave the Chaffins family the gift of a mortgage-free home. There's so much more to do and to say thank you to our nation's heroes and their families for their immense sacrifices, all for us. Donate $11 a month. Go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org. When they say free, they really mean check the fine print. They say free iPhone, but only if you trade in your $1,000 phone, pay $100 a month for unlimited data, and also a $35 activation fee. Now, Pure Talk, they have a better option. You'll get a brand new iPhone 14 with unlimited talk, text, 15 gigabytes of data, mobile hotspot for just $50 a month. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword save now. You'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Pure Talk.
We do have all of the exclusive details that we have gleaned from law enforcement sources posted on both X and Facebook at Dan O'Donnell Show, as well as Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. Law enforcement sources say the girl who killed 2 people and injured 6 others at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison was armed with not 1 but 2 handguns and multiple magazines that were purchased legally by her father at a gun store in nearby Sun Prairie. The suspect was a competitive shooter who entered competitions with her father. The guns used in the massacre at the school were either given to her for that purpose or stolen from the father, something investigators are still working to determine. After the shooter made a final social media post from the school's bathroom, she rushed into the study hall right near that bathroom, where it is believed now that she targeted a specific student with whom she had some sort of unrequited crush or another related romantic issue. Once she started shooting, the study hall teacher rushed the suspect, tried to stop her by grabbing her hair and wrestling her to the ground. The suspect shot the teacher and killed the teacher, who was found with a handful of the suspect's hair in her hand. The teacher delayed the suspect enough that a second-grade student in a nearby classroom was able to call 911 and get police officers to that school within a few moments. Sources say the suspect intended to shoot students in other classrooms, but simply didn't have enough time. Because of the teacher's heroism in stopping her for a few valuable seconds, the student turned the gun on herself instead of emptying her magazines into more of her classmates. Law enforcement sources call the teacher a hero who undoubtedly saved lives. That is me reporting on social media. I believe I said student again who called 911. It was a second grade teacher. That was corrected yesterday. Thank you to producer Dave. I actually missed that part of the press conference. I was kind of bouncing in and out of television hits as that press conference was airing and sort of missed that detail. The big thing that people are talking about following that press conference is Madison's mayor, Satya Rhodes Conway, absolutely losing it on members of the media for asking for the identities of those who were killed or injured. Now, I understand the mayor's frustration. I really do. One of the things that the media is known and despised for is in incidents like this, they'll get the name of one of the deceased, they'll get the name of someone who's injured, and they will camp out outside the hospital trying to get an interview with a parent, with a grandparent, with a sibling of someone who was shot in this tragedy. It's very vulture-like behavior, but the reality is, folks, this is the news business. I don't condone it. In fact, I've told the story before where I was working, this is decades ago. I think I was probably 20, 21 years old, too young to say no. And at another radio station, I was dispatched by someone who actually now does work at a national network to go to the funeral of somebody who was killed in some sort of incident. I don't even remember the details. And talk to people outside in the parking lot at the funeral. Well, I did. I was yelled at by at least 3 loved ones and said, you know what? These people are right. I'm out of here. I'm not doing this ever again. Please don't ask me to do this ever again. And I didn't. So I understand the frustration. But this needs to be balanced against the legitimate need for people to know. And I believe that this teacher who acted incredibly heroically needs to get the accolades that they deserve. No one has been identified yet. We only know that this was a high school student who was killed, as well as a teacher, and the various ages or genders of the teacher who was killed, the student who was killed, and the 6 students who were injured, not yet known. But this exchange has gone viral to some extent of Mayor Conway just absolutely laying into the media.
Sat here and tried to say that you want to dispel rumors on social media, you want to make sure that you're giving factual information. We're asking questions that have been circulating on social media, including rumors about the victims. Why not provide clarification and actually have people here to answer those questions to set the record straight?
I don't know how many times.
And before she answers, this is a legitimate question. If you couldn't hear it because of the room noise, the question was, you have said, please don't speculate, please don't engage. Why not set the record straight and release the names? It is now Wednesday, what is 48 hours since, so notification of family members is obviously complete. Everybody who needs to know knows that their loved one was involved in this tragedy, was a victim of this tragedy. Why wait to release those names? It's not as though the Madison government is hiding anything, but it does just kind of help. And there needs to be some sort, what this reporter is sort of asking, there needs to be some sort of trust that we're not going to behave like vultures or piranhas. We're not immediately going to, rush to the hospital bed. Some probably will. The last example I can remember, do you remember in the Kyle Rittenhouse case where the MSNBC reporter actually was arrested or at least detained for following the jury bus home to try to figure out who these jurors were? So it's not as though there's no precedent right here in Wisconsin for members of the national media behaving incredibly recklessly. But what the reporter is saying is, look, why not set the record straight and just let us know who was a victim in this?
I can say this. We will share good factual information when we can. None of you is obliged to stay here. You're free to leave. You don't have to be sitting in this room if you don't want to. We will share information when we can. It's very important that that information be as factual as possible. All right, I'm going to say this and then we're done. It is absolutely none of y'all's business who was harmed in this incident. Please have some human decency and respect for the people who lost loved ones or were injured themselves or whose children were injured. Just have some human decency, folks. Leave them alone. Let them grieve. Let them recover. Let them heal. Don't feed off their pain. We'll share what we can when we can, and not before that. Thank you.
And at that point, she ended the press conference and stormed out of the room. We will discuss that. I think it's a little more nuanced than people believe. More on the Madison shooting coming up next on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Merry Christmas
From the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Today's job market is full for skilled trade workers. Electricians, welders, mechanics, these and other trades are the backbone of every community. They're also a huge part in making sure the Army National Guard is always fulfilling its mission of service to our country and communities. Soldiers train to keep the power flowing, engines running, and supplies moving. The skilled trades these soldiers perform are the same ones needed in today's civilian workforce. Army National Guard soldiers are on the fast track to learning skills that can set them up for success at home with companies looking to hire the best. With options from plumber to helicopter mechanic and everything in between, soldiers are able to select the trades that best fit their lives. Their resumes are being built through their paid training and part-time service. Find out how you too can learn a trade profession and serve your community and country by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
When you say Hasselus Mattress is employee-free, you don't really mean it, right?
Of course we mean it. At Hasselus, give the mattresses a try with no pushy sales guy.
Why no employees?
To save you money.
How much money?
Well, others sell a Beauty Sleep by Beauty Rest Elm Cove B Queen mattress for $16.50, but the everyday Hasselus price is just $8.42. We have way low pricing on CertaPerfect Sleeper and Sealy Posturepedic, too.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Plus, through Monday, purchase a select Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, or CertaPerfect Sleeper in any size, and Hasselus will give you a free adjustable base.
That's even better.
Free next-day delivery, free removal and setup of your new mattress, and free financing is available, too.
And this is all because your showrooms are employee-free?
Yes, sir.
I like the way you do business.
Open 9 to 9. Get all the details and find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasselus.com. Hasselus, employee-free since 2014.
I want to talk about Scott Ferguson at American Medical Plans. If you pay for your own health insurance or you're looking for coverage, do not go online looking for quotes. You'll get endless calls from call centers and they will not stop. Instead, call Scott, an expert with over 30 years' experience, and he can provide sound advice for your health insurance needs. Their plans let you pick your doctors, and it's 30 to 60% lower costs than Obamacare. The monthly premiums are independent of your income, so there'll be no surprise tax bills. If you pay for your own health insurance, own a small business, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Scott at 833-500-PLAN. That's 833-500-7526. Or go to AmericanMedicalPlans.com. That's AmericanMedicalPlans.com. They'll customize a plan chosen and managed by you, not the government.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Goodbyes can be tough. Long goodbyes, short goodbyes, goodbye for now, goodbye forever. And then there are those unexpected goodbyes that seemingly come out of left field. like when your home's electricity goes out. Had you known your precious power would go poof, you would have spent more time protecting it. Well, kiss those unpredictable power outages goodbye and say hello to a new whole house backup generator professionally installed by Mr. Howland's Home Services. Our talented crew can hardwire your generator directly into your system to power on and off as needed in the blink of an eye, saving you from an unforeseen farewell. I guess you could say a whole house generator from Mr. Howland's Home Services is a good buy. Call 866-992-1717 or visit MrHowlandsHomeservices.com. Want to say adios to outages? We can help.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. Call 800-522-5700. 800-522-5700.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Your holiday to-do list can be longer than Santa's. Between the shopping, the decorating, kids' concerts, and, oh yeah, keeping the magic alive. iHeartRadio is here to bring the joy to your busy days with commercial-free Christmas stations like iHeart Christmas. Or dozens of playlists so you can pick and match your holiday vibe. Open your free iHeart app and search Holiday to explore stations, playlists, and more.
Looked at the calendar during the commercial break and realized Christmas Day is 1 week from today, December 18th. I still can't believe how fast this year has gone. Perhaps it's because it was one of the biggest news years I think we've ever lived through. Even bigger than the last presidential election year when the entire world was shut down for COVID-19. We came within 4 millimeters of having the president-elect assassinated, and a little more than a week later, the sitting president dropped out, becoming the first president since Lyndon Johnson in 1968 to announce that he's not going to seek another term. Almost immediately after that, the vice president, Kamala Harris, became the heir apparent. Oh, by the way, we had the Republican National Convention right here in Milwaukee. In between that, we had for the first time in American history, we had a president criminally tried, convicted of 34 different felonies. Then we had a presidential election. I mean, all of this going on in the span of less than 12 months. It sort of feels like we all just kind of need to take a couple of days, excuse me, in between. You see, I am so overworked right now. I'm losing my voice more so than I normally do. And it's I think a time, and this is why this Madison shooting, I know I keep bringing up the fact that it's at Christmas time as though the time of year matters, but to some extent it does. I mean, how can any family or any teacher at Abundant Life Christian School ever think of Christmas time the same again? I mean, I can't fathom that compounding grief because of that, to have to deal with all of this at the time when, you know, we're celebrating the birth of Jesus and Santa brings toys to good boys and girls, and there are little boys and girls. I can't get that thought out of my mind that there are little boys and girls who are now mourning the death of their parent or their, favorite teacher, their brother, their sister, that there are little boys and girls who are in the hospital right now suffering from critical injuries. And I also think about at this time of year, also the little boys and girls for whom maybe not this direct encounter with violence is regular occurrence, but those who have to live with the possibility of them or someone they love being shot in cities all across America, those shootings, those murders, those devastated, broken lives because of that violence that doesn't get a fraction of the media attention that a shooting like this does, but that this violence happens on a daily and in some areas hourly occurrence. I mean, it's exhausting, frankly, on top of everything that has gone on over the past year. No rest for the weary. However, we are going to try to lighten the mood tomorrow. It's always one of my favorite shows of the entire year. And in fact, it's going to be the last one we do as a midday show. Ask Dan Anything. We're not doing it Friday. No, you said you wanted to do it tomorrow. No, the last Ask Dan Anything show. Oh, I guess I phrased that kind of poorly. It'll be the last Ask Dan Anything show that we do as a midday show. The last live Dan O'Donnell show as a midday show is going to be 2 days from now on Friday. Yes, technically we will still call it the week between Christmas and New Year's, the Dan O'Donnell show, before Ben Yount takes over on January 2nd on WISN. On WIBA, Vicki McKenna is moving to middays. She will still do 2 to 3 p.m. on both WIBA and WISN. And this show will be moving to 3 to 6 p.m. on both WISN and WIBA in Madison. We will still be streaming live, and I can't wait to get started on this. But in the week between, there will be Dan O'Donnell shows, just not with Dan O'Donnell. I'm taking the week between Christmas and New Year's off, as I always do, and we will start anew on January 2nd. So listen tomorrow, Ask Dan Anything. On Friday, I think barring any big newsworthy events, we're probably going to do a very Christmas-heavy show. We'll tell, some stories about Christmas. I may play some forgotten history Christmas pieces. I'm always fond of the American St. Nicholas, the story of the World War II soldier who brought Christmas back to occupied Europe. It's just it's a great story, and I love telling it. So we will get into that. And then Monday, of course, the Dan O'Donnell Show Family Christmas Special. I actually have pretty much all of the performances logged, ready to put together today and tomorrow to get that show recorded and ready for you. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. It premieres Monday, 9 a.m., and then will air throughout the day and night, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day as well. It's also available as a podcast if you can listen anywhere you want via the iHeartRadio app. As for whether Mayor Rhodes Conway is right in the media as she scolded them, kind of yelled at them and said, how dare you ask for the names of the people who were killed or injured in this? I see this from both sides. I see this from the perspective of somebody who, for much of my adult life, was sitting in rooms just like that, asking similar questions of elected officials and law enforcement about tragic events. Because I have been so intimately involved in those tragic events, most notably the Sikh Temple massacre from 2012, where I was on the scene and telling people, based on my sources, that their loved ones inside the temple were injured or who was killed, and trying to piece together with those people who were, I'll just never forget that. Just never forget the responsibility to those victims. I understand their perspective too, that they don't want to be hounded by the media. And I didn't go up to anybody. They were asking me when they realized that I knew something about what was going on inside or what had gone on inside, and said, hey, here's what I know. What can we kind of piece together in order to get everybody the knowledge that they need in the relevant and appropriate time that they need to get that information. So while the public does have a right to know, and you always balance that right to know, I think in the balancing tests that you always have to sort of do to analyze events and things like this, the balance tips more heavily in favor of respecting the privacy of those who are going just through unimaginable sadness. And what you always have to do is be cognizant of that. So I'm not going to sit here and malign, as we call her, Mayor Sunbeam Rhodes Conway, for, frankly, anything in the way that she has handled this. I think there was a little bit of grandstanding. I'll be totally honest, I wasn't able to watch the entire press conference, just busy doing other things, you know, all sorts of work-related things and whatnot. And I understand there was a little bit more grandstanding on the gun issue, but what I'm reporting today exclusively is that no level of gun control. There just is no gun control law that would have prevented this tragedy, because there is no gun control law that would have kept the guns out of this house. They were legally purchased. Both father and son, or father and daughter, excuse me, appeared to be, I don't want to say responsible, but use the guns. They knew how to use guns, is what I'm saying, is they were competitive shooters, indicating that they knew how to fire a gun much better than the average Joe. This wasn't just some girl who got a gun somewhere and started shooting blindly. She knew what she was doing. The father, it seems, based on what law enforcement is telling me, the father knew what he was doing as well, that he is himself a competitive shooter, and that there is just nothing that would have barred the purchase of these guns. The daughter either stole them from the home, or the father gave the guns, or at least allowed the daughter to use the guns for competitive shooting. Now, the question, of course, and what's being investigated now, is how much did the parents know about what it was this daughter was posting online, what her mental state was, whether the guns were kept in a place where they shouldn't have been, whether they were just sort of left out, whether it was negligent operation of a firearm, that is a potential crime that could be charged. All of this remains under investigation, as this is still a very, very active and fluid situation. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. We will, you know what? We need to lighten things up. Unhinged Liberal next.
Merry Christmas.
From all of us here at the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Last month's results are in. The numbers don't lie. It was a doozy. Are you happy with the outcome? Well, if you're dissatisfied with the final tally, you have the freedom and the power to change it next time around. By the way, I'm referring to soaring utility bills. What did you think I was talking about? This time of the year, energy bills are predictably unpredictable. Surprise, sky-high charges can catch you completely off guard. So don't let it happen again. Get out there and do something about it. Replace your aging, overworked heating and air unit with a brand new, fully warranted, highly efficient comfort system from Mr. Holland's Home Services. Right now, Mr. Holland's Crackerjack team is ready to install your new energy-saving system for as low as $79 a month with approved credit. Call Mr. Holland's Home Services, 866-992-1717, or visit MrHollandsHomeservices.com. Ready for the numbers to go your way? We can help.
Cheerio and happy holidays to all. We Brits do two things particularly well. Celebrate the Yuletide and make a fantastic cocktail. And now doing both the proper way is simpler with Bartesian. Whether your desire is a holiday-spiced old-fashioned by the Yule log or a Clausmopolitan for sipping with your besties, just pop in a capsule, select your strength, push the button, and you're off. Hurry now, old chap, as they're $50 off. Add holiday flavor to every celebration with Bartesian. Get $50 off any cocktail maker at bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.
This is one of my favorite Christmas memories. So one Christmas morning when I was little, my four brothers and myself, we got bottle rockets for Christmas. So after we opened all our gifts, outside we went with our bottle rockets to play. And surprisingly, these things go pretty high. Sure enough, one of these bottle rockets ends up on top of the porch roof. And so we go to the shed, get the ladder, and my older brothers crawl up there, and there's a bag up there. I mean, like, there's no tracks up here from anybody else. There's just this bag sitting up here in the snow. So we open it, and inside there's a gift for each of us from Santa Claus. And all we could figure is that when Santa was on top of the house roof, this bag just somehow slipped out of his hands or slipped out of the sleigh and rolled off and was sitting on the porch roof. And if we had any doubts previously, from that day forward, we were convinced there is a Santa Claus.
Holiday Memories, brought to you by Penny Mustard Furnishings.
Merry Christmas from Penny Mustard.
Are you going to the big store to remodel your home? 1 minute they're pruning roses. The next, recommending countertops. Yikes! Discover affordable beauty at Granite Plus. Visit with friendly experts. Granite, Cambria, cabinets, and flooring. Endless colors and designs. Custom creations just for you. Skip the hassle. Visit the showroom at Granite Plus in New Berlin today. All affordable, all professional, with 0% financing available. Granite Plus. Better design, service, value.
Jay Weber here. If you're someone who's experiencing shoulder, spine, hip, knee, or musculoskeletal pain and a total joint replacement might be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Find them at orthowisconsin.com. At Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, their physicians are committed to providing the highest quality of joint care and specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center in Pewaukee. You can find them at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Get holiday cheer that lasts a lifetime with a new bath installed by Bath Fitter of Milwaukee. Now get 0% financing for 72 months for a limited time from Bath Fitter. For details, call Bath Fitter at 262-395-4925.
iHeartRadio is your #1 app for the holidays. Just open the app and search Holiday and start listening now. You'll see your local holiday radio station, plus all kinds of other holiday stations, playlists, and podcasts. iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. Call 800-522-5700. 800-522-5700.
Anti-Semitism takes many forms, from a passing comment in casual conversation to vandalism and even violence. Shine a Light is a national initiative to spotlight anti-Semitism. A coalition of over 60 Jewish and non-Jewish organizations from across the U.S. and Canada, Shine a Light draws inspiration from Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights, to encourage Jews and allies to speak out against anti-Semitism and send a message that we are stronger together. Join us at shinealighton.com.
Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show, and Merry Christmas to you. Again, exclusive new details on the Abundant Life Christian School shooting in Madison, posted on X at Dan O'Donnell Show there, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show as well. What do you think, Producer Dave? Has there been enough time? Can we get back to the serious business of being funny on the Dan O'Donnell Show? Please, he says. All right. Yeah, it was Rudy Giuliani. Dave, great memory there. He remembers right after 9/11, first show back, Mayor Giuliani asks, or Lorne Michaels asks, can we be funny again, Mayor? He responds, why start now? Right, so why start being funny now on the Dan O'Donnell Show? So, next hour, we are going to talk to the president of the Milwaukee Brewers as the Stadium District signs a brand new lease, keeping the Brewers in Milwaukee for another 25 years to 2050, following the injection of $500 million of taxpayer money to help fund repairs to American Family Field. We will talk with the president of the Brewers, Rick Slesinger, coming up at about 10:35 this morning, and at 10:20-ish, we will play America's favorite game show, Guess What's Racist. Right now, it's time to name the unhinged liberal of the day.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany.
All white people are racist.
Trump is dangerous because he's evil.
America is over.
Today's unhinged liberals of the day aren't necessarily any more unhinged than they usually are, but it is very weird how much they are being used as puppets by the Joe Biden White House. They are the social media influencers who all attended the White House Christmas party last night and all posted the exact same thing with nearly the exact same message. A picture of themselves with Hunter Biden. Chris Mowry posted, met Hunter Biden tonight. Great guy, great family. Harry Sisson, got to meet Hunter Biden today. He's awesome. The whole Biden family is amazing, and I appreciate them a lot. Brooklyn Dad Defiant, just met Hunter Biden at the White House holiday party. Super nice guy. And then a couple of emojis, the prayer emoji and the heart emoji, again accompanied by a picture of him with Hunter Biden. Jojo from Jers. If you don't know these people, you clearly have too fulfilling of a life and do not spend all your time on X. Jojo from Jers posts a picture of herself and Hunter Biden. This one goes out to all my meme-making trolls. Now, why would all of these people just independently think I've got to get a selfie with Hunter Biden and post about how great the Biden family is? Because rather obviously, the Biden White House is telling them to post a picture with Hunter Biden and post about how great the Biden family is. All of those little stooges, your unhinged liberals of the day. Yeah, I believe the word we're looking for is collusion, Dave. Very good. The real collusion was never between the Trump White House and the Russians. It was always between Democrat operatives in the federal bureaucracy, the so-called deep state, and the media that just is so incredibly willing to parrot their talking points. And this has sort of been a recurring theme of the Dan O'Donnell show this week, that we're being told a narrative constantly about pretty much everything that just totally conflicts with reality. We'll be right back after the news.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good morning, I'm Tad Allen. Honoring the lives lost in Monday's school shooting in Madison, hundreds gathered at the Wisconsin State Capitol last night to remember the victims of the attack at Abundant Life Christian School. Those attending were able to sign 2 heart crosses for the 2 victims who died in the incident. The executive director of the organization that oversees the school, Charles Moore, spoke at the vigil.
It's hard. We've lost people. We've lost loved ones.
The 15-year-old identified as the suspected shooter, Natalie Rupnow, fatally shot herself. Of the 6 others injured, 2 have been released from the hospital. Another 2 are still fighting for their lives. Milwaukee police are looking for a suspect in an unusual hit and run. Police are looking for a driver who struck another vehicle yesterday afternoon at West Kinnickinnick River Parkway and West Forest Home. The driver of the striking vehicle then disregarded a traffic signal and pushed the other vehicle into the Kinnickinnick River. The unknown driver of the striking vehicle then fled the crash scene. The driver whose vehicle was pushed into the river was the only person in it. They were treated at the scene for non-life-threatening injuries. The district attorney's office in Manhattan announced yesterday Luigi Mangione was indicted on first-degree murder and other charges in the ambush killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson this month. Mangione faces several other counts, including one which is charged as a killing in the act of terrorism. Checking the Holiday Automotive of Fond du Lac Sports scoreboard, after winning the NBA Cup last night, the Bucks next face the Cavaliers Friday night in Cleveland. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Ted Allen on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
With nearly 50 years of experience, my dad, Jim Mullally, has taught my cousin Mark everything he knows. In fact, he bestowed so much expertise onto Mark that Mark went to New York to compete against the top furniture finishers in the country. And you know what? He won. So if you're looking for the finest of furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. The bulk of our business is in wood furniture restoration. We found that there are a lot of folks out there with antique furniture and heirloom pieces that are in good shape, but just need to be brought back to life again. Well, that's our specialty. And right here in Mequon, you'll find one of the country's top furniture finishers. So if you want only the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
We've seen that sleep apnea bully stop breathing more than 100 times an hour. But this problem is solvable, and Advent has simple solutions that have been proven to be extremely effective.
Here's the latest forecast, presented by AdventKnows.com from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Cloudy to start, but then partly sunny for the afternoon. Should see a high in the low to mid-30s today. Overnight tonight will drop into the low 20s, and then snow arrives for Thursday. Some areas could see as much as 2 to 4 inches. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Audible. Get immersed in new worlds and ideas with Audible. Explore an incredible selection of audiobooks, podcasts, and originals, all in one easy app. There's more to imagine when you listen. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com.
Don't you just love a big holiday meal? Honey glazed ham, roasted potatoes, savory stuffing, and Grandma's homemade gingerbread cookies. I tell you, all that food can really plug you up. Your plumbing, that is. 'Tis the season for shoving a feast worth of leftover ingredients down the kitchen drain. Your pipes prefer that you throw bones, coffee grounds, eggshells, potato peels, and grease into the trash instead. Otherwise, these icky remnants bond together to grinch up your plumbing and cause all that water to back up into your holiday get-together. So, if Santa brings you a clogged drain for Christmas, call Mr. Holland's Home Services. Mr. Holland's Hydroblast technology will bomb that blockage back to the North Pole. Soon, your family will be singing, "Let it flow, let it flow, let it flow." 866-992-1717 or visit MrHollandsHomeservices.com. Ready to flush away that holiday stress? We can help.
Get holiday cheer that lasts a lifetime with a new bath installed by Bath Fitter of Milwaukee. Now get 0% financing for 72 months for a limited time from Bath Fitter. For details, call Bath Fitter at 262-395-4925.
Hey, it's Dan O'Donnell wishing you and your family a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and prosperous New Year from the Lynch family of dealerships. To celebrate, this week only, receive a free 55-inch TV with any new or used car purchase at all of Lynch's locations. That's right, huge holiday savings plus a 55-inch TV with every new or used vehicle purchase. There isn't a better time to upgrade your ride and cruise into the new year with new wheels and a new TV. Maybe you need a new pickup with four-wheel drive to get you through the snow to Grandma's house. Maybe your wife wrote to Santa asking for an upgrade to her family vehicle. Either way, check that name off your list with a new ride from Lynch. Choose from a new Buick, Chevrolet, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, or Ford, plus an incredible selection of pre-owned cars that come with peace of mind protection, including a 90-day, 3,000-mile certified guarantee. Visit shoplynch.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. Call 800-522-5700. 800-522-5700.
Join News Talk 1130 this Saturday at 4 p.m. for The Word on Medicine, the show that brings you the latest medical innovations and discoveries by physicians and scientists at the Medical College of Wisconsin. That's Saturday afternoon at 4 on News Talk 1130, WISN.
Be sure to listen to the NX Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. NX provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference.
O'Donnell Show, hour number 2. Welcome to it. The AdventNews.com talk and text line is open at 414-799-1130. Reach us toll free, 1-800-838-9476. A reminder, tomorrow we are doing nothing but taking your calls, answering your texts. Ask Dan anything. Get those questions ready. Usually we do this on the Friday before Christmas break, but producer Dave is taking a day off, and he requested that he be here for Ask Dan Anything. It is always a lot of fun. So I obliged. We are doing that tomorrow. Email me, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. We are on YouTube. We are available as a podcast, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to podcasts. I was doing a little research for Guess What's Racist, and what I normally do is, as I come across a story where someone on the left is just declaring something to be racist, and it's absolutely hilarious when they do, I kind of flag it, and I'll go back to a special folder that I made for all the stories. And I just, during the break, I thought, you know what I didn't do? I didn't check to see if anybody is declaring Christmas racist yet. So I did a quick Google search. Very first thing is from 2011. Something called Race, Racism, and the Law. It's an organization which published Santa, Jesus, and the Symbolism of White Supremacy. Because Jesus and Santa are depicted as being white. And I found this one that is just too funny. It is from Bristol247.com. I have absolutely no idea whether this is Bristol, Connecticut, or whether it's Bristol, England. I'm looking forward to another sexist, racist, homophobic Christmas. Robin Askew is dusting off the DVD box sets this festive season. Basically, the concept of this piece is that all our old Christmas classic movies are racist. Our tradition in our house is to return to the TV comedy we watched as children with our parents in the 1970s. The great thing about this stuff is it's all been released in DVD form and or on Blu-ray, which means Gen Z can't get their nasty censoring hands on it on the grounds that it doesn't, ghastly term alert, align with their values. I am now reading this, and I think it might be satire. That all of the old racist shows. I just did a very quick search. Don't worry, we have got fully researched and I could not find good Christmas racism this year. I think they might be. Dave seems to think that they're just defeated after Trump, that they are. Well, here we go. 2 weeks ago. Confederate Christmas ornaments are smaller than statues, but they send the same racist message. This is from Yahoo News. Take a good look at those Christmas ornaments because they may be family keepsakes, but they might also be perpetuating racism. Speaking of Trump's victory, it was certified yesterday, the Electoral College, not certified, but officially voted on by the Electoral College. It doesn't get certified until what date? I think everybody from 4 years ago remembers this right at the top of their heads. It's seared into all of our collective memories. It is, of course, January 6th, and that's something of Congress accepts and counts the electoral votes. Now that the electoral vote is counted, the state elections are certified. Remember, we don't have a federal election. That's where people were getting confused 4 years ago, that somehow Mike Pence could just wave a magic wand and undo the results of a presidential election. Now, people say, yeah, Dan, it's absolutely in the Constitution. You're telling me that John Adams and George Washington and Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson and Ben Franklin and the boys who set up the United States of America and were most terrified of the possibility of somebody becoming a dictator and ruling them like a king that they so despised and actually fought a war to get away from, they would turn around and say the vice president of the United States, whom they deliberately gave no specific powers whatsoever, could, by his own personal judgment, just undo the results of an election? Do you believe right now, 4 years later, that Kamala Harris, who lost the presidential election, by the way, her last moment in national politics, is very likely to be certifying her own defeat? Man, oh man, that has got to be tough. It did happen to Al Gore 24 years ago. It's happened a whole lot of times, actually, that the sitting vice president has lost. But now you can see her humiliation in glorious 4K. So she's going to have to certify the votes. Do you actually believe that she could just sort of say, well, because Trump, let's say, how about this, for the sake of arguments, because Trump incited an insurrection the last January 6th, 4 years later, I cannot name him president. I need to undo the results of the election and declare myself president because I believe Trump is not constitutionally eligible to be president because of the 14th Amendment's prohibition on people convicted of or who engaged in insurrection or incitement or that sort of thing. Do you really believe that? No, of course, it's ridiculous. So all of the people who say, well, Mike Pence could have done something, and Trump, unfortunately, fell into that trap 4 years ago. The election is now done. The Electoral College has met. Trump's victory is set in stone. He did, in fact, despite liberals' insistence that this was not a mandate, in fact, win one of the biggest Republican victories in modern political history. His win wasn't so much about the total number of electoral votes or even the total number of votes. He got the second most votes in the history of the presidential election, topped only by the miraculous 81 million people who just came out of nowhere, voted for Joe Biden, and then disappeared back into the ether and were never heard from again after 2020. It wasn't just that. It was the fact that he won everywhere with everyone. So much so, Dave, that I think there is something to your theory that Democrats are just sort of defeated. They just sort of don't have the same level of will to form a resistance. Remember last year at almost 8 years ago at almost exactly this time, the Russia collusion narrative was taking hold. It was right before Christmas 2016 that they were whipping themselves into a frenzy that somehow Donald Trump was a Russian agent. There's no sort of conspiracy mongering this time, perhaps because Democrats just spent a full 4 years telling us that election denialism is tantamount to insurrection and that it's actually criminal behavior. They wouldn't dare to suggest, although a couple of them, it was hilarious in the days after the election, say, hey, this doesn't make any sense. 81 million people showed up to vote for Kamala Harris, to vote for Joe Biden, but 11 million people just disappeared. They didn't vote for Kamala Harris. What gives? Yes, what gives indeed? Well, what we know is that we might have presumed that there were just, a couple 100,000 votes left to count in the 3 weeks after the election in California. Nope. Turns out there were like 4 million votes still to count almost a month following Election Day. So the number of votes that Kamala lost from Joe Biden's seemingly unbelievable vote total of 2020 wasn't quite as big, but it was still pretty sizable. The reality is that a lot of people recognized how badly Democrats have put this country into an economic tailspin. And you saw the unbridled enthusiasm of the stock market following Trump's victory. Yes, it is true that the stock market has performed very well under Biden. It's because it's the only asset that people are putting their money into that's going up in tremendous value. So obviously, in an inflationary environment, every asset goes up. But not everybody has stocks. Not everybody has a 401k. Not everybody owns a house, the value of which has gone up. But everybody has to buy food. Everybody has to pay for transportation. Everybody has to pay for some form of housing, whether it's rent or a mortgage payment or something. Real estate taxes, all of those have gone up. So money is flowing out from people at a record rate, whereas their appreciable assets, the assets that they can turn around and sell for a profit are also going up, but far fewer people have those. It was the economy, stupid, that prompted so many people to cast their ballots for Trump. It was an easy argument to make. Look, things were better off when I was president. We didn't have a new country full of illegal immigrants just suddenly invade the United States and demand to get social welfare benefits that we did under the past 3 years of the Biden administration. We had a better economy. Things were affordable, and people wanted to go back. Trump himself has now filed a lawsuit against the Des Moines Register and its pollster, Ann Selzer. You might remember in the last couple of days before the election, it was the Saturday before the Tuesday election, Selzer had a poll that showed Kamala Harris up by 14 points in Iowa. Iowa was on nobody's radar as a swing state. When I came on the air and I was posting all weekend on social media, do not take this seriously. If Iowa was even close, every single campaign, you would have had Kamala Harris just setting up shop there instead of, say, Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. If Iowa's in play, so too is Ohio. You didn't even see J.D. Vance, who's the senator from Ohio, in Ohio. The poll made no sense. Trump, however, is suing the Des Moines Register, Ann Selzer, who has retired from polling because of her abject humiliation with that poll, on the theory that she actually interfered with the election. And this is an interesting theory. I'm not sure it's legally actionable here. This amounted to a push poll. What that is a poll that's not designed to gauge public sentiment, but to influence public sentiment. It's a poll designed to create a narrative in people's minds. I have long believed that what the clear observable trend of Democrats overpolling in the month of August has meant is, well, first, Republicans are more likely to go on vacation and not answer pollsters. But for whatever reason, August is just the absolute best month for Democrats. Are there theoretically some pollsters who say, yeah, you know, this really impacts fundraising. It really impacts the bandwagon effect where people want to vote for the candidate who they believe to be winning the election. Maybe we put our thumb on the scale a little bit for Democrats. And they don't do this by directly fudging numbers. What they do is create a partisan sample that is almost certain to deliver the results that they want. You had a poll in August in 2022 that showed Mandela Barnes leading Ron Johnson by something like 7 points. It was never accurate. In 2020, you had a Marquette University Law School poll that showed Joe Biden up by about 6. There was the infamous ABC News poll that showed, was it Biden or Hillary Clinton, Dave, up 16 in Wisconsin or some. It was Biden. It was 14, 16, just some number that it would have been Biden because we covered on this show and just laughed at it. I was like, look, we follow Wisconsin. A blowout is 3 points here. It is very rare that a candidate will lose. I mean, Dan Kelly did lose by 10 points and 11 points in successive state Supreme Court races, but that's something of an anomaly. Is Trump right in saying, look, what Selzer and the Des Moines Register did in publishing a poll they both knew to be bad, to be an outlier? Did that amount to interference with the election? What is interference with the election? It's rather obvious that most national news outlets exist in the month of October solely to provide glowing puff pieces on the Democrat and hit pieces on the Republican designed to influence the election. Was the George W. Bush drunk driving story election interference? Was the Billy Bush, Donald Trump grab him by the you-know-what tape in 2016 election interference? Was the Hunter Biden laptop story election interference? I would argue that if that story is not, and it clearly wasn't, it was relevant, pertinent information, so too are the others. Relevant, pertinent information, obviously dug up by Democrat smear merchants who do opposition research and try to find stuff like this about the candidate's past. But what about a poll? What about something that is presented as objective fact about an election, right? Weren't we told under the Democrats' own theory that lying about an election, lying about the results of an election, is a felony? If you claim you won an election that you actually lost, Democrats' own legal theory says that is felony violation of law. How would that differ from a pollster saying right now this race is a 5-point lead for Kamala Harris, when it actually isn't? I would think that it's just far too difficult to determine whether a pollster is actively lying, or what I think the more pressing problem for pollsters is, yes, there is a whole lot. I mean, they're all Democrats, with the exception of the guy who runs Rasmussen right now. He's a really good follow on X, and I can't think of his name. It's Mark something or other. You've also got Rich Barris at the Big Data poll. He's a big conservative, very, very smart guy, understands data like the back of his hand. If you're looking for a good analyst of pollsters, as well as a pollster himself, highly recommend him. He is the People's Pundit, I believe, is his handle on X. And there are a number of other ones that are Republican pollsters. I think JL Partners is a big one, and there are some others. But media pollsters typically are Democrats, or at least they lean left, unless you can demonstrate that they're intentionally sabotaging their own results. You can't make the claim that they're interfering in the election. But it is interesting that in the last couple of weeks before the election, they always engage in something called herding, where they all kind of make it a very tight race. And the Republican always seems to storm back in the month of October. Right now, we are looking for a contestant to play Guess What's Racist. Since we have just 7 days to go before Christmas, we will take caller 7, lucky number 7, on the AdventNews.com talk and text line 414-799-1130.
Summerfest welcomes Def Leppard. June 19th, American Family Insurance Amphitheater during Summerfest. Get set to get rocked. Def Leppard with special guest Tesla. Tickets on sale now at Summerfest.com and Ticketmaster outlets. Def Leppard, brought to you by Summerfest.
Ever feel like you're playing hide and seek with the store employees while shopping for your home renovation?
Hey, can I get some help here?
Skip the hassle and head to Granite Plus for experts who know granite, Cambria, cabinets, and flooring. Granite Plus gives you personalized expertise and affordability with 0% financing available. Visit Granite Plus in New Berlin today and say goodbye to the big store confusion. Granite Plus, better design, service, value. Make your home the perfect gathering spot today.
Jay Weber here. If you're someone who's experiencing shoulder, spine, hip, knee, or musculoskeletal pain and a total joint replacement might be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Find them at orthowisconsin.com. At Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, their physicians are committed to providing the highest quality of joint care and specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center in Pewaukee. You can find them at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Trump's victory doesn't mean our financial worries are over. Far from it. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul here. For the past few decades, I believe our nation's economic foundation has crumbled, all due to Washington's addiction to spending and currency manipulation. These problems won't vanish overnight, and that's why I've supported gold IRAs for years. These accounts let you hold tax-advantaged gold with no penalties or taxes when you transfer your IRA or 401k. Birch Gold Group is the leader in gold IRAs. They understand true wealth preservation means breaking free from from the system. To learn more, get a free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word SECURE to 989898. That's SECURE to the number 989898. Secure your savings with gold today. Text SECURE to 989898 now for your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
Your holiday to-do list can be longer than Santa's. Between the shopping, the decorating, kids' concerts, and, oh yeah, keeping the magic alive. iHeartRadio is here to bring the joy to your busy days with commercial-free Christmas stations like iHeart Christmas. Or dozens of playlists so you can pick and match your holiday vibe. Open your free iHeart app and search Holiday to explore stations, playlists, and more.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. In just a couple of minutes, we will check in with the president of the Milwaukee Brewers, Rick Slesinger. The Stadium District Board is today signing a lease that will keep the Brewers in Milwaukee until 2050. We reported early yesterday morning that that deal had been reached. The formal signing is at some point, I believe, this hour. I think the board is meeting right now. Actually, we will check in with Mr. Slesinger on all of that. $500 million in taxpayer money going toward the repairs of American Family Field that were necessary, says Major League Baseball, to keeping the Brewers here in Milwaukee. Time now to play America's favorite game show.
Guess What's Racist?
That's right. It is your chance as an audience contestant to identify what seemingly benign thing is now suddenly, horribly, and unforgivably racist. And today's contestant comes to us from Franklin. Todd, welcome to Guess What's Racist, sir.
Well, welcome. How are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. Are you aware of how to play our game, sir?
I have a good idea.
Okay, good. Producer Dave, what happened to our music? Oh, there we go. I couldn't hear the music. That's racist to me. I am accusing Dave of potting the music down too much. He says it's racist. So what I am going to do is give you a list of 3 things, Todd. One of those things just randomly has been declared racist. All 3 of those things are related, but only one within the last couple of days. And the rule we have is within the last week, oftentimes it's within the last 24 hours or so, has been declared suddenly racist by a member of the media, a left-wing activist, a Democrat politician, somebody. It is your job to identify what thing is racist. Are you ready to play, sir?
I am.
All right, Todd, guess what's racist? Times Person of the Year, Times Athlete of the Year, or Time Magazine itself?
The first one.
Times Person of the Year is incorrect. I am sorry. It is, in fact, Times Athlete of the Year, according to the owner of the WNBA's Washington Mystics. Her name is Sheila Johnson, and she is very, very mad that Caitlin Clark was named Athlete of the Year, suggesting that Time should have given the award to the entire WNBA. She suggested that the decision to give Clark the honor would incite feelings of racism within the league. She said, why couldn't they have put the WNBA on that cover and say the WNBA is the league of the year because of all the talent that we have? When you single out one player, it creates hard feelings. So now you're starting to hear stories of racism within the WNBA, and I don't want to hear that. Johnson even went so far as to claim that Clark's attention and the minting of the term the Caitlin Clark effect, which has been associated with the attention she's brought to the league, is because of race. Johnson says, it's the way media plays out race. I feel really bad because I've seen so many players of color that are equally as talented and they never got the recognition they should have. So when the WNBA gives out its MVP award, does it give it out to every single player because the WNBA is itself the most valuable league? These are obvious questions for an obvious idiot in Sheila Johnson. All right, you're 0 for 1, Todd. No worries. Question 2 incoming. Guess what's racist? West Allis, West Milwaukee, Oak Creek, Franklin, or Muskego, Norway?
I believe that's Oak Creek Franklin.
That is correct. Did you happen to see this story in the Milwaukee Journal? Oh, geez, you live in Franklin. What am I saying? Of course you saw that.
I do.
So, oh boy, Todd, this one's hitting a little too close to home for you. I didn't make that connection immediately. I apologize. Journal Sentinel, public investigator, obtained records showing that complaints about racial discrimination at Oak Creek Franklin's joint school district have largely gone unreported to the state, despite students and parents voicing long-standing concerns about the district's treatment of students of color. Every year since 1986, every single school district in the state is required to publicly report the number of discrimination complaints they receive to the Department of Public Instruction. Oak Creek Franklin's annual report from 2018 to 2023 shows just 2 complaints regarding racial discrimination. One of those was informal, one is formal, and both are from the very first year that those reports go back to, 2018-2019. However, Oak Creek High School's own internal data shows 14 alleged incidents of racial discrimination by staff in the 2022-23 school year alone. Now, public investigator requested the same reports from 4 nearby school districts, Muskego, Norway, Waukesha, Greendale, and Elmbrook. None reported as few complaints as Oak Creek Franklin. Now, I am not going to get on the public investigator for reporting that clearly Oak Creek Franklin is not reporting things that come in, but maybe, just maybe, the district has found these reports not to be at all credible. Final question for you, Todd. Guess what's racist? Algorithms, AI, or data farming?
Data farming.
That is incorrect. It is the algos. Algorithms. The Daily Kos just published yesterday a blog post. Maybe we lost the election because of racist algorithms. Algorithms, in other words, what a social media site shows you in your news feed, are not objective. They reflect the biases of their designers or the data they train on, or more often both. So if they were not trained carefully, then they may have wasted contacts and therefore dollars, saturating some individuals, Democrats he's talking about, and leaving out others who should have been contacted. In other words, the algorithms gave Democrats a bad idea of who they needed to contact to get out to vote for them. The reason for this, naturally, was racism. Todd, very good job. You only went 1 for 3, but you do still win a prize, sir. That prize is not physical. It is far deeper, and it's far more valuable. It is a better, more complete understanding of how you, Todd, from the racist state of Oak Creek Franklin, racist district, contribute to America's systemic racism. And I hope, Todd, that you value this as much as any Christmas gift you'll receive this year.
I will.
Well, thank you so much for playing, Todd. Thank you so much for listening. Rick Slesinger, the president of the Brewers, up next. This has been Guess What's Racist? Dan O'Donnell here for Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you in Waukesha, Milwaukee, Muskego, Brookfield, Heartland, Cedarburg, and their Waukesha Fleet and Specialty location. If you have a business with a multi-vehicle fleet, Mander is the place to go because their team understands you can't have a vehicle out of service for a while, so they work quickly and efficiently to get you back on the road and serving your customers as fast as possible through expedited fleet repairs. Mander has been serving their customers and their community for well over 20 years, and they know that the key is expert workmanship and fast turnaround times combined with the sort of customer service that you'll only find at a family-owned local business like Mander. Start your repair today at mandercollision.com and find out for yourself why Mander truly is your best decision after a collision.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
Welcome to This Week with Annex Wealth Management. Dan O'Donnell here alongside Annex's CEO, Dave. And this week, I want to say personally, thank you for another great year of partnership and of friendship And Merry Christmas to you.
And to you and to your listeners as well. It's been a great relationship and looking forward to 2025. 2024 was a great year. You think about what's happening with the markets and what's happened with the markets this year. The S&P 500 up nearly 29%, NASDAQ up over 35%. That is a successful year. And you think about the tailwinds that we have going into 2025, the projected growth of corporate profits, and the fact that inflation has come down. All of these things are setting ourselves up for a successful 2025, but we'll have to take a look at that as we go forward. Folks, if you've had some gains, now is the time to go through and make sure you're doing your year-end tax planning, taking gains and losses and offsetting those against each other. You should have an advisor that will do that. And the themes going into 2025, Dan, should carry in, and we're looking forward to working together again as well.
Absolutely. There are a lot of changes for me personally, professionally, big move to afternoon drive. But one thing is always going to stay the same. We will bring you the same intersection of politics and economics and help you know the difference between financial advisors. And we always ask that as you prepare for 2025 and look back on 2024, you head to annexwealth.com to get that review of your portfolio. It's called a Wealth Metric, and it is available only at annexwealth.com. For Dave Spano, the CEO of Annex, I'm Dan O'Donnell saying thank you so much for listening and Merry Christmas. This has been This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
Hey, if you need to sell your home without all the headaches most people experience, you have a great American right in your backyard that I trust if I needed to sell my home. I'm talking about Justin Hoffman with RE/MAX Lakeside. Just go to wihomeeval.com.
Last month's results are in. The numbers don't lie. It was a doozy. Are you happy with the outcome? Well, if you're dissatisfied with the final tally, you have the freedom and the power to change it next time around. By the way, I'm referring to soaring utility bills. What did you think I was talking about? This time of the year, energy bills are predictably unpredictable. Surprise, sky-high charges can catch you completely off guard. So don't let it happen again. Get out there and do something about it. Replace your aging, overworked heating and air unit with a brand new, fully warranted, highly efficient comfort system from Mr. Holland's Home Services. Right now, Mr. Holland's Crackerjack team is ready to install your new energy-saving system for as low as $79 a month with approved credit. Call Mr. Holland's Home Services, 866-992-1717, or visit MrHollandsHomeservices.com. Ready for the numbers to go your way? We can help.
Looking to unwind and enjoy the ultimate in relaxation? Don't miss the end-of-year clearance sale at A1 Pools featuring Sundance Spas. With over 27 spas on display at our Franklin and West Bend showrooms, you can test and experience the perfect spa before you buy. Imagine the soothing jets melting away stress, improving your sleep, and boosting your wellness, all in the comfort of your backyard. Spas start as low as $29.85 with discounts of up to $9,300 off MSRP. Plus, qualified buyers can enjoy 0% financing for 60 months with payments starting at just $47 per month with 20% down. Upgrade your spa experience with our most popular models, featuring a free upgrade package worth up to $2,600 plus free accessories valued at up to $800. Hurry in, this offer is while supplies last. Visit A1 Pools in Franklin or West Bend today. Your dream spa awaits. Visit a1poolfund.com for details. Relaxation starts here. A1 Pools, your partner in luxury and wellness.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex.com. People, my people, what's up? This is Questlove. Man, I cannot believe we're already wrapping up another season of Questlove Supreme. We talked to A. Marie, Johnny Marr, Eve, Jonathan Schechter, Billy Porter, and so many more. If you haven't heard these episodes yet, hey, now's your chance. You gotta check them out. Listen to Questlove Supreme on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Questlove Supreme.
Christmas from all of us here at the Dan O'Donnell Show. Right now, the Stadium District Board is meeting to formally approve and sign a lease that will keep the Milwaukee Brewers in Milwaukee at American Family Field until 2050. The deal was reached yesterday following last year's approval of $500 million of public funds, i.e. taxpayer money, about $363 million from state taxpayers and $130-some million combined from Milwaukee County taxpayers and City of Milwaukee tax resources as well. Joining us now to discuss is the Brewers president of business operations, Rick Slesinger, great friend of the program. Rick, thank you so much for coming on, and I guess congratulations on staying in Milwaukee for the long term.
Thank you, Dan. Yes, obviously the vote has to be conducted, but we're optimistic and excited to put this in place and make sure that everything is going great for the next 27 years at the ballpark.
Now, obviously, there was nowhere near the level of public outcry over the repairs to American Family Field as there was over the initial funding with the stadium sales tax back in the 1990s. But still, there are people who question whether it's a wise investment of taxpayer money to go to a private organization like the Milwaukee Brewers. What do you say to people who still are not comfortable with the idea of the Brewers getting taxpayer funds?
Yeah, I think it's always important to recognize that when you're using public money, you have a custodial obligation to make sure that it's worthy and to make sure that it's being used appropriately. What I tell people is leave aside whether or not you're a baseball fan or a Brewers fan or whatever. It's an economic investment. What the Brewers and the ballpark generate in revenue for the state, whether it's incremental economic activity, it's job creation, it's taxes paid by all of the players, Brewers and visiting players, Brewers executives. It exceeds what the state is funding to the ballpark for the next 27 years. So I look at this as you can justify it on an economic basis solely without regards to the entertainment and the other benefits that the Brewers bring to the state in terms of, fun, exciting baseball, great for the brand, great to have Major League Baseball in a city like Milwaukee, puts the city on the map, all that kind of stuff. So from an economic perspective, I think it's a smart investment for the state. And I think people understood that. That's why we were able to get, bipartisan support in the Assembly and the Senate to get this done.
Why did it take almost exactly a calendar year, I believe longer than a calendar year, to get the details of that lease worked out? Is it just kind of contractual language that, might be far too nuanced and obviously I don't want you to share any, deep details, although it is a public document, but why did it take this long to get it done?
Yeah, it's a good question. 90% of the lease is just carried over from the original lease. So, and then the rest of it is really trying to harmonize the new lease to the legislation. And, you have, I don't want to denigrate lawyers. I'm a former lawyer, but, your lawyers are obviously very picky and make sure the language works. And, it's important because the document's going to have to operate and govern the relationship between the district and the Brewers for a long, long time. So it's important to get it right. It's important to make sure the language works. Mm-hmm. It's to make sure that enough people on the district side have input. So it takes time. So I didn't expect it to take a year, but I didn't expect it to take it 3 months either.
No, I understand that. And you obviously have to cross all the T's, dot all the I's, and then there's a draft of the contract that goes over, and then it goes back, and then we're changing this word or this. I understand completely. So yeah. I think we have seen a lot of the most visible improvements to the ballpark. There was the scoreboard, the giant screen that was put in. What other improvements and what other repairs were made over the past year that used that money that was provided?
Sure. So, again, a lot of the improvements and repairs are done behind the scenes where the fans, as they come to the ballpark, aren't necessarily going to see them. But if those repairs and improvements hadn't been done, it definitely would have impacted the fan experience. For example, all of the broadcast infrastructure, the cabling, all of the systems were original from 1996, 97, 98, and all of that obviously had to be replaced and upgraded for fiber optic cable, and just to be able to transmit, the technology from the television trucks out to the Cosmos and then back to the television sets and iPads of our fans. So that was done this off season. We've had work on the plaza. The concrete continually needs to be upgraded, repaired. It buckles. It sometimes cracks. The winters are tough on it. So that was done. We had a lot of concession interior spaces had to be redesigned and reconfigured. The equipment was very old. The spaces were antiquated and were not efficient from a perspective of operating concessions. So that was done. So there's a whole list of stuff. The roof is always being maintained in a great way. So there's costs associated with that, and seat replacements and things like that. So there's ongoing projects. The district has done a great job this past season on sort of overseeing these projects. And obviously it's most important part of their role, I think, for the next 27 years is to oversee all of the repairs and capital improvements that are important for the ballpark.
It was a very successful season for the Brewers on the field in 2024, capped off, unfortunately, by a truly heartbreaking end to it. I was actually at that game. I've never heard American Family Field so loud, followed by such quiet when Pete Alonso hit that home run in the ninth. I mean, it was a rough end, but it was a great season. We had the manager of the year, Pat Murphy, in his first season. You had great performances up and down the roster in a year in which the Brewers weren't expected to compete. But heading into 2025, it wasn't unexpected, but Willy Adames, arguably the team's best player, leaves via a free agent contract with the Giants. You've got Devin Williams, the team's closer, traded to the Yankees for a couple of very good pitchers. What do you expect 2025 to bring from the baseball product itself?
Well, first, I was having a really great morning until you brought up Pete Alonso. So,
sorry.
Yeah, that was tough. I will tell you that
that was just a killer. That stayed with me for days. I couldn't imagine what you felt.
Well, I'm a baseball history nut, and I just tell you, October 3, 2024 was the day that Alonso hit the home run to put a big defeat on us, and that was the same day that Bobby Thompson hit the famous home run against Ralph Branca in 1951 to propel the New York Giants over the Brooklyn Dodgers to the World Series. So people in both states, had some memories of that day, but it was tough. But as far as 2025, I'm really optimistic. I think, losing Willie is not easy. It's hard to replace, 32 home runs and his leadership. But the good news is we've got really good players, young players who can man the shortstop position. Basically that could be Joey Ortiz, Bryce Terang, and we've got a good system of players coming up in the system who are going to make an impact in 25. Yeah, Devin Williams was a great pitcher for us. Shouldn't be defined by one bad inning. He was such a great pitcher for so many years. And the good news is, Matt Arnold and his folks know how to, retool. They know how to bring in replacement players. It's hard to replace these guys, but they seem to do it. Mm-hmm. And, if you look at 2018, 2019, for the last 6 years, we've been very competitive. And with the exception of maybe Christian Yelich, the players have all changed over.
Right.
So it's a testament to the system. So I'm excited for 25, even though there's going to be plenty of new faces.
Absolutely. He is the president of baseball. Why do I keep saying that? I'm thinking of baseball. It's December. I'm already looking forward to springtime.
You're trying to give me a promotion?
I am trying to. He is the president of business operations, and today the big story is the business of baseball with the signing of that new lease taking place sometime today after the vote. We do all expect it to pass after a deal was reached in principle yesterday. Rick, I hope you and everyone in the Brewers organization has a wonderful holiday season. Thank you so much. We look forward to talking in 2025.
Thanks for having me on, Don, and happy holidays to you and all of your listeners.
Well, the pleasure is all mine. I know he misspoke. He knows my name is not Don, for anybody asking. Does he know? Yes, he knows my name. Do we need to reprint the show name? No. No, we don't. All right, let's get some music. Put up that music, Dave. Let's go. We got to go to break. We're back to wrap it up here on the Dan O'Donnell Show next.
From the Dan O'Donnell Show family to yours, Merry Christmas.
Hey, it's Dan O'Donnell wishing you and your family a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and prosperous New Year from the Lynch family of dealerships. To celebrate, this week only, receive a free 55-inch TV with any new or used car purchase at all of Lynch's locations. That's right, huge holiday savings plus a 55-inch TV with every new or used vehicle purchase. There isn't a better time to upgrade your ride and cruise into the new year with new wheels and a new TV. Maybe you need a new pickup with four-wheel drive to get you through the snow to Grandma's house. Maybe your wife wrote to Santa asking for an upgrade to her family vehicle. Either way, check that name off your list with a new ride from Lynch. Choose from a new Buick, Chevrolet, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, or Ford, plus an incredible selection of pre-owned cars that come with peace of mind protection, including a 90-day, 3,000-mile certified guarantee. Visit shoplynch.com.
Cheerio and happy holidays to all. We Brits do two things particularly well. Celebrate the Yuletide and make a fantastic cocktail. And now doing both the proper way is simpler with Bartesian. Whether your desire is a holiday-spiced old-fashioned by the Yule log or a Clausmopolitan for sipping with your besties, just pop in a capsule, select your strength, push the button, and you're off. Hurry now, old chap, as they're $50 off. Add holiday flavor to every celebration with Bartesian. Get $50 off any cocktail maker at bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.
Honey, you're dusting again?
I can't keep up. It's crazy.
I don't want you to have to do that.
I hate it so much.
We need to call Capital.
What do?
They clean your ducts with high-powered trucks.
That cuts the dust?
Cuts the dust.
Because our air is only going to get worse?
Now that our windows are closed for the season, yeah.
And the holidays are coming?
We don't want everybody sneezing all over the place. I'll call them.
Already got it.
Oh.
Yeah, Capital, please save us.
Our duct cleaning technicians are standing by
to get you ready for the holidays
and save you time and trouble. And kerosene. That's right. Cut the dust
and breathe cleaner air.
Capital does over 1,000 duct cleanings every year.
Yeah, now's the perfect time to get your ducts clean.
Before Capital's holiday rush starts.
Let Capital Heating, Cooling, and Electric save your holidays and clean your ducts today. Schedule online at callcapitalcares.com.
Are you going to the big store to remodel your home? 1 minute they're pruning roses. The next, recommending countertops. Yikes! Discover affordable beauty at Granite Plus. Visit with friendly experts. Granite, Cambria, cabinets, and flooring. Endless colors and designs. Custom creations just for you. Skip the hassle. Visit the showroom at Granite Plus in New Berlin today. All affordable, all professional, with 0% financing available. Granite Plus. Better design, service, value.
Join News Talk 1130 this Saturday at 4 p.m. for The Word on Medicine, the show that brings you the latest medical innovations and discoveries by physicians and scientists at the Medical College of Wisconsin. That's Saturday afternoon at 4 on News Talk 1130 WISN.
Attention well pump owners. Do you have enough water pressure for your needs? Can you run 2 faucets at once without a problem? If you answered no to either of these questions, talk to an S&K Pump and Plumbing professional about a well pump checkout before you're left high and dry. They feature a full line of well pump equipment. Contact them at 262-784-HELP or SNKPump.com.
When it comes to water, one call does it all. SNK Pump and Plumbing.
iHeartRadio is your #1 app for the holidays. Just open the app and search Holiday and start listening now. You'll see your local holiday radio station, plus all kinds of other holiday stations, playlists, and podcasts. iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
Trump's victory doesn't mean our financial worries are over. Far from it. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul here. For the past few decades, I believe our nation's economic foundation has crumbled, all due to Washington's addiction to spending and currency manipulation. These problems won't vanish overnight, and that's why I've supported gold IRAs for years. These accounts let you hold tax-advantaged gold with no penalties or taxes when you transfer your IRA or 401k. Birch Gold Group is the leader in gold IRAs. They understand true wealth preservation means breaking free from the system. To learn more, get a free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898. Secure your savings with gold today. Text PROTECT to 989898 now for your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply. Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
The Bucks are NBA Emirates Cup champions. Yay, I guess. Whooped up on the Oklahoma City Thunder last night in the NBA's in-season championship game. So do we put up a banner? This seems to be the big debate. Do the Bucks hang a banner from the rafters at Fiserv Forum for the NBA's Emirates Cup in-season tournament championship? I don't know what the Lakers did last year. I have no idea. The Lakers have way more championship banners hanging from their rafters than the Bucks do, so that might influence the decision. There was always an old joke about the WNBA. It's, would you rather have your city's WNBA team win a championship or fined $5? And I sort of feel the same way about the Emirates Cup. I don't know. Is it interesting? Did it make me more likely to watch the NBA? Sure. Yeah, it focused on the Bucks, which was good, Dave. That's right. But all in all, NBA viewership is down significantly over the past 10 years. There are a number of reasons for that. We talked about that either earlier this week or actually I think last week. We discussed this. Ratings are down significantly in the Bucks and the NBA rather did this so that there would be more of a reason for you to tune into a game between the Wizards and the Orlando Magic in December. But ultimately, the problem is, yes, okay, I know every player on the roster got $500,000. Great. Is there really much of a payoff for the fan? Is there really that much stake that anyone has at this? Now, granted, it's the second year of this thing. The games were better. I still think the courts that they use are an eyesore, but that's just me. I know the kids love them. I just didn't feel all that invested in the tournament because nobody thinks of the Bucks as a champion right now. The defending champions are still the Boston Celtics, and this year's champion is going to be determined in June. Coming up tomorrow on the Dan O'Donnell Show, Ask Dan Anything, the entire show dedicated to you and your questions. You can text them, you can email them, you can post them on social media, and I will answer them. Talk to you tomorrow.